It's time to relax, grab a drink, pull up a chair by the hearth, and have a seat in the skulled circle to listen to the tale of The Quarrel of the Cat and Dog, from Jewish Folklore as told by Casimir. Before we begin our story, we wanted to remind you that we release new tales for free every week. Our shorter tales release on Wednesdays, and our longer chapter stories release on every other Saturday. Find out where you can hear them on our website at theskulledcircle.com. And be certain to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. That way, you'll never miss out on one of our enchanting tales from around the world. And this is the tale of the Quarrel of the Cat and Dog. In the childhood of the world, when Adam named all the animals and ruled over them, the dog and cat were the greatest good friends. They were inseparable chums in their recreations, faithful partners in transactions, and devoted comrades in all their adventures, their pleasures and their sorrows. They lived together, shared each other's food, and confided their secrets to none but themselves. It seemed that no possible difference could ever arise to cause them trouble. Then winter came. It was a new experience to them, to feel the cold wind cutting through their skins and making them shiver. This dismal prospect of the leafless trees and cold hard ground weighed heavily upon their hearts, and worse still, there was less food. The scarcity grew serious, and hunger plunged them into unhappiness. Dog became melancholy, while cat grew peevish, then petulant, and finally developed a horrid temper. "We can't go on like this," moaned the cat. "I think we'd better dissolve partnership. We can't find enough to share when we are together, but separately we ought to each discover sufficient forage in our hunting." "I think I can help you because I am the stronger," said the dog. Cat did not contradict, but she thought the dog a bit of a fool and too good-natured. She knew herself to be sly and intended to rely on that quality for her future sustenance. Dog was deeply hurt at Cat's desire to end their happy compact, and he said quietly, "Of course, if you insist on parting, I will agree." "It is agreed, then," purred Cat. "Where will you go?" asked Dog. "To the house of Adam," promptly replied the cat, who had evidently made up her mind. "There are mice there. Adam will be grateful if I clear them away. I shall have food to eat." "Very well," assented the dog. "I will wander further afield." Then the cat said solemnly, "We must each take an oath never to cross the other's path. That is the proper way to terminate a business agreement. The serpent says so, and he is the wisest of all animals." They put their right forepaws together and gravely repeated an oath never to interfere with each other going to the same place. Then they parted. Dog trotted off sorrowfully with his head hanging low. Once he looked back, Cat did not do so. She scampered off as fast as she could to the house of Adam. "Father Adam," she cried, "I come to be your servant. You are troubled with mice in the house. I can rid you of them and want nothing else for my services." "Thou art welcome," said Father Adam, stroking the cat's fur. The cat rubbed her head against his feet and purred contentedly and ran off to look for mice. She found plenty and soon grew fat and comfortable. Adam treated her kindly, and she soon forgot all about her former comrade. The poor dog did not fare so well. Indeed, he had a rough time. He wandered aimlessly about over the frozen ground, and could not find the slightest scrap of food. After 3 days, weary, paw-sore, and dispirited, he came to a wolf's lair and begged for shelter. The wolf took pity on him, gave him some scraps of food, and permitted him to sleep on the floor. The dog was most thankful, and sleeping with his ears on alert, he heard stealthy footsteps in the night. He told the wolf. "Drive the intruders away," said his host in a surly tone. The dog went obediently to do so, but the marauders were wild animals, and they nearly killed him. He was lucky to escape with his life. After bathing his wounds at a pool in the early morning, he wandered all day long, but again could find nothing. Toward night, when he could scarcely drag his famished and wounded body along, he saw a monkey in a tree. "Kind monkey," he pleaded, "give me shelter for the night. I am exhausted and starving." "Go away! Go away!" chattered the monkey, jumping and swinging from branch to branch, moving his lips quickly and opening and shutting his eyes comically. The dog hesitated, and to frighten him away, the monkey pulled coconuts from the tree and pelted him. The poor dog crawled away miserably. "What shall I do?" he moaned. Hearing the bleating of some sheep, he made his way to them and asked them to take compassion on him. "We will," they replied, "if you will watch over us and tell us when the wolf comes." The dog agreed willingly, and after he had devoured some food, he stretched himself to sleep like a faithful watchdog with one eye open. In the middle of the night, he heard the wolves approaching, and anxious to serve the sheep who had treated him kindly, he sprang to his feet and began to bark loudly. This aroused the sheep, who awoke and started to run in all directions. Some of them ran right into the pack of wolves and were killed and eaten. Poor dog was nearly heartbroken. "It is my fault," he wailed. "I barked too soon. What an unhappy creature I am. I shall keep away from all animals now." Once again, he set off on his travels. Whenever he met an animal, he ran off in the opposite direction. He had to make his journey by the loneliest paths, the most unfrequented routes, and the difficulty of finding food grew steadily greater. At last he grew so weak and thin he hardly had the strength to crawl, and he had several narrow escapes from falling prey to ferocious beasts. One night he came to a house and begged a morsel of food. It was given, and during the night he woke the man and warned him that wild animals were making a raid. The man jumped up, seized his bow and arrow, and drove the thieves away. Then he patted the dog. "Good dog," he said. "You are a wise animal. Stay with me always. You will find Father Adam kind." "Father Adam!" cried the dog in alarm. "I must not stay here." "Nonsense. I say you must," answered Adam. And the dog was compelled to obey. In the morning, Cat learned the dog had joined the household, and she complained to Adam. "The dog has violated the oath he swore not to come to the place where I am," she said. "He did not know you were here," said Adam, desirous of maintaining peace. "He is very useful. I want him to remain. He won't hurt you. There is ample room for both." "No, there isn't," said the cat spitefully, arching her back and getting cross. "He broke his oath. He is a wicked creature. You dare not overlook his offense." The poor dog stood dejectedly apart, with his tail between his legs. "I didn't know it was Adam's house, and I was so hungry and miserable and tired," he said. But the cat would not be pacified. She thrust out her claws and tried to scratch her former partner. The dog kept out of her way as much as possible, but she quarreled with him at every opportunity. And at last, he determined to tolerate her conduct no longer. "I must leave you, Father Adam. Cat is making my life unbearable." "But I want you to stay," said Adam. "I am sorry," said the dog. "But it is really impossible for me to continue in your service. I have another solution at the house of Seth. He wants me too." "Won't you make friends with the cat?" said Adam. "With pleasure if she will let me, but she won't." "You blame each other," said Adam, losing patience. "I can't make you. You look like you'll be quarreling forever." Adam's words had proven true. Ever since that time, cat and dog have failed to agree, and cat will never consent to be friendly again with the dog. And that is the tale of the Quarrel of the Cat and the Dog from Jewish Folklore. Thank you for listening to our story. If you enjoyed it, we recommend taking a look at our Patreon page, as noted in the description below. You can earn great rewards while also supporting us, to keep these stories alive for generations to come. Also, remember to subscribe to us on your podcast app, and leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed this story. A special thank you to Cat for their support this month. Without your contribution, we wouldn't be able to continue these stories, and we truly appreciate it. Visit theskullcircle.com to stay up to date with all of our current events, news, and much more. Not only that, but you can also visit our story archive of every tale we have ever told. It's sorted by origin and region for the convenience of your listening pleasure. Thank you for listening to our story.